Hey, this is FLW Pro and 3M Scotch Blue Pro Ray Scheide. Today I want to just share with you some tips on the jig I like to use, and specifically the swim jig technique. I'm going to go through my setup to give you all some pointers on not only how the bait will work properly, but it'll get you more bites and help you get more fish in the boat. This is actually a new jig from Gambler Lures. It's their new swim jig, and it is incredible. If you like to swim jigs, or if you're new to it, it's the deal. They have come in and they've got a new head design that it swims through anything, and that, you know, the thicker cover that you can swim it in, usually the better. They've stiffened up this weed guard. The little extra stiff weed guard kind of keeps that trash on it. You don't want to make a really long cast and the first thing you do is get something balled up on that jig and you're reeling in 30 yards of trash. A, you're not going to get a bite, and B, you might just spook that fish that would have been potentially you would have caught on that cast. I really like to rig mine, and I really specifically designed a rod for Denali for heavy cover, pitching a very heavy weight, but it also doubles real good for a swim jig rod. It's a 7'4" Ray Scheide Signature Series from Denali. It's got a little bit of tip on it, so it's actually it works really well when you're swimming that jig. I'm using braided line, so there's no stretching that line. The tip will actually give just a little bit to let that fish get that jig in its mouth, and you can land a lot more. Once you get new to the swim jig technique, you're going to find that through experimentation, if you don't use a setup like this, that you get a lot of good bites with that technique, but you'll lose a lot of fish if you're using too stiff a rod and you're setting the hook too quick. When a swim jig is almost like a topwater. When you see a lot of the strikes, you almost have to pause for just a second and let him get it. And sometimes if you're more in an open water situation, just literally keep reeling. When you're in thick, heavy cover like we're in today, you pause for just a half a second, and it's almost like a one turn on your reel, and then set the hook, and you'll get a lot more fish in that way. But there's an oversized hook on this jig, stiffer weed guard, great head, and one of my favorite techniques, and I'm really excited about that new jig there. I do pair it with a very high-speed Shimano Chronarch reel. Sometimes when you're swimming a jig and they bite it, those fish are swimming straight at you, so you got to be able to catch up to that fish and set the hook on him also, or pulling him out of heavy cover if he jumps. And you don't want to get that slack in your line. You got to be able to keep up. So this isn't a low-speed reel situation. You want a high-speed reel. I use the Shimano Chronarch paired with the Ray Scheide Signature Series rod from Denali, and I also got the Gambler swim jig. And today with the heavy cover, I'm choosing to swim it with the Why Not, the Gambler Why Not. I actually go to that Mega Daddy or something big and flapping real big on a low pressure situation. And this is another tip on swimming a jig. If you have a high pressure situation, you actually want it to be more subtle, maybe even a smaller profile. Something smaller profile and a little bit more subtle. Low pressure when they're eating, the bigger the bait you got, the better, because the big ones are going to be eating on that day. So today we got a little bit of cloud cover and stuff. We're going to use pretty bulky skirt on it, and let's go fishing and see if we can't put that Gambler jig to use.